Let's win some Japanese play booster boxes. Alright, so today we are playing in the Arena Direct event. We are playing Modern Horizons 3 Sealed, and we are trying to win some Japanese play booster boxes. If we go 7-0 or 7-1, we get two boxes, two whole boxes of real cards that we can win on the actual client of MTG Arena. These events are awesome. I'm a big fan of them. Playing competitive limited is always a good time. And, well, this is a pretty pricey one. It is 8,000 gems. So that's like 4.5 drafts. So definitely be wary of this event. If you don't feel like you're gonna have fun or something like that, then probably don't join it. Obviously I want to win the boxes, but even if I only get like 5 wins and I get some gems back, or even 4 where, you know, I spent some gems but I had a good time, win some packs, that's really what I want to do. I want to play this event because it's fun to play in, and I really hope that we can win those boxes. Let's see what our rares are. Here we go. Oh, Eldrazi, please, something Eldrazi. Okay, ooh, right. Interesting cards for sure. Some cool energy cards with the Nightmare and Aether Revolt. We have a Subtlety, which is pretty strong. Fury's a lot better than that, but that's okay. Alright, let's see what the rest of the cards are. This doesn't fully dictate our draft. We could still get the Mythic Common. Alright, first thing I always want to do when I'm playing in sealed events, I like to go see what my lands are, just to be sure, like, your mana base is pretty important. And so let's see what all the different lands that we have we're working with. Okay, we do have some interesting stuff here. As far as our modal double face cards, we have like Rakdos, Orzhov, and Izzet. I don't necessarily want to be sticking into those colors. We do have 2 Bountiful Landscapes, which is huge. Temur is what we're kind of looking for. Temur Eldrazi is probably the best deck, and that's the one that we are looking to play. We also have Perilous Landscape, which gets us red and blue, as well as we have like Sheltered Landscape, which gets red and green. So we got some stuff here. We definitely can figure out some things. Lots of these lands is awesome. That makes it so much easier to play all our best cards. The next thing I wanted to look at is to make sure I had any Writhing Chrysalis, which we did open 1. This is the Mythic Common of the set. This is like one of the best performing cards. It's better than a bunch of rares. So we are going to smash this into our deck. And let's start here and see what we get with Eldrazi build. Alright, this is one way that we could go. We could play like Gruul Eldrazi stuff, where we're trying to play a bunch of cheaper cards to get on the board. So we have like Fanged Flames and a Ghost Fire Slash as just our removal spells. But 3 Malevolent Rumbles is pretty great. This is one of the best green commons in the set. We get to mill a bunch of cards, make an Eldrazi spawn, but then put a permanent back into our hand, as well as having a Basking Brood Scale. So getting the cheap Eldrazi, like the little tokens, we can sacrifice those to play some of our bigger stuff like Breaker of Creation, the Annoyed Altasaur, and then also running the Furnace Hellkite just because it's, you know, a big card that will help us finish the game. And then it heralds the end, lets us cast those 7 drops for cheaper, and then also buffs up all of our colorless creatures, including the Eldrazi spawn. So that could be good if we just swarm a bunch of Eldrazi spawn, attack out with that. Writhing Chrysalis, obviously amazing in this deck. You'd be able to sack any of those Eldrazi spawn when you're playing bigger things, and then this becomes a huge threat that has reach, as well as our Territory color also has reach, really hard to get through in the air. So we can control the skies and then maybe win with our own flyers or a giant annihilator creature. And then if they're able to like deal with any of that stuff, we can get it back with Evolution Witness or any of these things from the graveyard, as well as we also get to play Detective's Phoenix, which is a great, really awesome recursive threat. Works really well with the Malevolent Rumbles because we get to mill stuff and either get this in our yard or give it a bunch of fuel to collect evidence to be able to bestow on something else. So this looks probably the most promising. We could try to build a little bit of a blue deck or like add blue into this, but I don't think our blue is that great, or at least not that great in this shell. And I wonder if just sticking with 2 colors might be really great for us instead of trying to reach out too far. I'm not quite sure, but this looks really strong to me. This is probably the deck I'm going to build. But I also think it's really important to go through and try a couple other decks just to see if something else is there and not leave anything on the table. All right, another thing that could be pretty interesting is like the Chthonian Nightmare deck. If we're able to like recur a bunch of stuff from our graveyard, maybe that could be pretty strong and possibly have some sort of like energy payoff in here somewhere. So I'm going to try building something with this. This is kind of the beginnings of this deck, but I am quickly finding out that I'm not really interested in playing some of my black cards. They just don't seem that exciting to me, so I think I'm just going to scrap that idea completely. All right, we do have subtlety, so it feels weird that we wouldn't try at least a blue deck somewhere to try to fit this in. It doesn't really feel like it goes in the Eldrazi deck because I'm not going to have enough blue cards to be able to pitch to it, and this obviously being free is the most important part of the card. So let's see if we can play like a blue-white or blue-red energy deck, maybe? Or we have a couple pieces that could be interesting there, like this Battle Wagon and stuff, so let's put something together like that. This is kind of the same thing where I feel like we just don't have enough payoffs and synergy that we're really trying to work with, and I just don't think we're going to get there. I think we're probably just going to have to scrap this idea. This has been a pretty hard sealed pool because it looks so obvious that we should just play the Gruul deck with like all the good Eldrazi cards. So let's build the Gruul deck again. I really do feel like this is probably the deck that we should be playing. We are playing like cards like Reckless Pyro Surfer, which does work well in a more aggressive strategy, and the Gruul deck is a bit more aggressive. It gives us a way to attack again with our Eldrazi spawn, which normally we can't if we can flood the board. But we also have a good late game, so maybe we can ping in with some good damage early and then get some big stuff later, instead of going like all in on the big plan. Because we do have like Detectives Phoenix, and we're trying to kill them in the air. Like Fledgling Dragon works with the Malevolent Rumbles because we're going to mill ourselves, so then we can get Threshold pretty quickly. And then, you know, I think there's something here. And I think the blue cards that we could add to this deck are basically like Unfathomable Truths, which is good. We could play Petrifying Meddler, which is also good. Deem Inferior, and like Serum Visionary. Again, I don't think that Subtlety fits into this deck because if we don't have enough blue cards to pitch to this, then it seems like pretty bad. Especially because it's double blue. We do have the lands where we could force these blue cards into our deck. There is possibly a world where we would want Unfathomable Truths just to draw more cards so we can outvalue our opponent. But we have so many like Malevolent Rumble things we can just like easily draw basically that way. We also have Glimpse the Impossible. So basically the only thing I'm worried about in this deck is that our removal is a little light. We have Ghostfire Slice and Fanged Flames, as well as like Gift of the Viper. So most of our removal caps out at like 4, and then one's a combat trick where we're probably trading something. So that's like almost already just like a 2-for-1, so that kind of feels bad. Hopefully our creatures are just big enough and we can trample over them with like the Oozewag, giving some of our creatures that have counters trample. It does give Writhing Chrysalis trample, so that's pretty helpful. And maybe we can just win with our big stuff. That's kind of what I'm hoping, but I think this is our best shot at winning the boxes. I really do. This is pretty good. We do have like Void Pouncer and Reckless Pyro Surfer in our opening hand, so we have some stuff to go kind of aggressively, and then Malevolent Rumbles to try to ramp this thing out. I don't know, this looks pretty good. I think I'm going to keep this. We have our colors. I always like having our colors. I don't know if we want to start with Malevolent Rumble and then go into the Pyro Surfer. But we could do Void Pouncer and then play the Reckless Pyro Surfer afterwards. That seems good, except for the fact that we didn't draw lands this turn. So I'm wondering if we... They might not play anything next turn. Let's play the 3-1. And then as we kind of have a harder time, we'll have to go into the Malevolent Rumbles to get our lands. But we'd prefer to just draw a land next turn, play Pyro Surfer, get Battle Cry, attack for 6. That seems nice. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have anything. Red, ooh, yeah, they're playing the same stuff as us. Ooh, Priest of Titania, ooh, and a land off the top. If they're trying to ramp with this thing, I wonder if they're even going to block. I think we just play Pyro Surfer into Forest and say, hey, we're attacking you. What are you going to do? They can just trade like that. That is fine. They go to 18. Kind of sucks we lose our, like, creature, but having cards in our graveyard isn't really bad for us, so I think we're fine with that. Now let's start just ramping and hope to get to Breaker of Creation, and that would hopefully be enough. All right, they are playing Teamer. We got their, like, Llanowar Elf card, but that's actually really annoying. If we knew about this, we would have wanted to keep our 4-1. around. Well, Malevolent, like, more lands is always good. Let's rumble into, well, territory color. We're losing a Ghost Slice. We could take the Evolutionary Witness, or Evolution Witness, and then get the color back, but we can't do that for a little bit. I kind of just like getting the color and being like, you know what, let's just play it, we're fine. Lose the Witness, that's okay. And we get to play the Surfer. We can just rumble again and super ramp, and then we get a Chrysalis. Oh, these are all really good. Altasaur is also here. I think we just take the Chrysalis and say, hey, let's attack for 2. It's just because. Just to show them that we're not afraid to attack into their 0-4. Yeah, but we did show them 2 really good cards. Which is probably why they said, good game right there. Because we can play the Chrysalis, and then we get 2 more of our Eldrazi spawns. Ooh, they're just going to tap out to draw. Try to find an answer. It's great news for us. Really good news. Especially because we can... Ooh, if we got a land there, that would have been really nice. I kind of want to just Chrysalis here. Make some spawns. Get our Chrysalis out. And then we get to play Breaker of Creation next turn and just really put in the work. Gain a ton of life. And then they're probably going to have a really hard time dealing with us. End the turn. Great. I think this is what we wanted to do. So I'm feeling good about this right here. Like, I don't... If they try to go remove our Chrysalis and, like, deal 4 damage to it, we could sack some of our spawn, and that would leave us with 6 mana. That doesn't make me nearly as excited as just slamming a Breaker of Creation next turn, and then making Chrysalis huge and attacking. Like, that's what we want to do. But we don't have a lot of removal, so... And they have a ton of cards, so we want this game to end quickly. And so keeping our creatures on the board that can attack would be really nice. Twisted Riddler is pretty good here. Taps our big stuff down. And it is a 5/5, so it does trade with the Breaker of Creation. And we can't kill it with Fang Flames or any of our stuff. That is good. It does slow us down quite a bit. And a Basking Brute Scale. Okay. Sweet. Well, I think we just play this and then sack most of our Eldrazi. Yeah. Chrysalis gets really big. We gain 7 life. And slam this big boy. Alright, and then next turn's like, alright, what are you going to do? We have a 5/6 reach creature. We have an 8/4 that has hexproof from each color. And it has Annihilator 2. We get to Fanged Flames their Basking Brute Scale if we want. We also can just play Territory Color. We also have 6 mana, so if we get another land, we can just play the Furnace Hellkite too. So we do have lots of options. And they scoop it up. All right, they don't want to play anymore. That's our first one, buddy. Let's go! Let's see, this hand looks pretty good. We do have our colors. Unfortunately, we continue only to have 2 lands in our hand, but we do have a Basking Brood Scale and a Reckless Pyrosurfer with Fang Fling. So if we get 1 land, we get to play the Phoenix like this. I'm going to keep this hand. We're going to start off with the Basking Brood Scale, and then we can play Surfer the turn afterwards. They get to go first, and they play an Ocelot Pride. So that might change things. We might just have to kill this. Because we can't really let this go off. It's going to be really hard to race. They're just going to make so many little token things. So well, they do have mana up too. Like we could play Basking Brood Scale and just try to block this thing. But also I feel like something could happen. I think we just Fanged Flames it and just say goodbye. And hope they don't have anything to stop us. Because then we're awesome. Okay, that's good. That's good. Because now we can play Detective Phoenix next turn and just start hitting them in the air for 2. And then if we keep drawing lands, we get to do Brood Scale stuff. Hexgold Slith. That's an annoying card. Maybe we're not going to be attacking here. Maybe we just have to keep blocking stuff. They do get to give it first strike if they like. It does cost 2, so they get to do that 1 time. But then they have a 3/2 that we're going to block with, like, this thing. If we don't, maybe we just play this and block. I feel like we're going to win the long game. And we just got to make sure that they can't make this have toughness, like, 3 to start us off. Especially because we're missing a land drop right here. There's also a world where we just play Brood Scale, and then the next turn we get to adapt it and make an 0/1. But I don't know how much I like that. This play at least uses all of our mana. And it might force them to use their energy, and then it's gone. And then they have a 3/2 that can no longer be first stricken. Though they could always play another energy card. And they just did. Alright, so if they put a counter on the Hexgold Slith, and then also give it first strike. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, they just want 2 power creatures. Attack. Give it first strike. We're not going to block this one. But next time we will. But it does look like they're doing an energy type thing. Okay, we do have Malevolent Rumble. So I think we need to rumble for a land. Interesting. We do get to play Pyro Surfer, which isn't going to be crazy for us. In this game right now, because we are on blocking duty. We do win the long game, right? So we just need to get there. Breaker of Creation is going to get, like, if we can get this on the battlefield, that'll be huge because we gain a bunch of life. And we cross our fingers that they can't actually get energy this turn, and so Hexgold Slith will be able to be traded with, not just chumped. Though if they play something like the 4-mana 3/3 flyer that supports 2, that would be pretty bad for us. We probably have to double block the Slith in that case. Ugh, I don't like that very much. I'm also wondering if next turn we do just play Territory Color and just be like, we have a big 7/5, how do you respond? And then hopefully we get lands and we get to do some stuff with our lands. That's exactly what we said we didn't want to happen. Okay. More energy, and they're like... They missed a land drop, but they do have lots of energy and a bunch of creatures. So they can give the Hexgold Slith first strike, once again. The Zealot is actually an issue in our deck because we usually play just a couple big creatures, and tapping them down sounds like something I don't want to have to deal with. Luckily, we are pretty close to being able to Detective Phoenix get some stuff out of here. All right, so I think we just take the trades here and say, sure. Though we do want to make sure... Next turn... Actually, this is kind of annoying. Because next turn, if we play the Territory Color, they can tap it down. I don't like that very much. So let's just block the Inventor. What if we block the token? Because the Inventor doesn't do anything right now. And they might be able to get it back from their graveyard in a weird way and then get some value. We're going to get our Phoenix is going to help us with some stuff. So let's block there. And, ooh, Chrysalis is awesome, right? Because when we just play this, have a huge blocker, and make a bunch of dudes. That is great. All right, pass the turn. So now we have access to 7 mana. If we draw a land, we just Breaker of Creation, gain a bunch of life. And that seems like a winning position. Oh, Chrysalis is so good. We could also sacrifice some of these just to block the Hexgold Slith profitably. And then use the leftovers for Territory Color and just wait until we get to play Breaker. But that would be kind of annoying. Tap down the 2/1. They have open mana. I don't really like the open mana. I think we have to block the Hexgold Slith and try to... not trade. We try to win the fight. Sure, you can't give it first strike. What combat trick could they possibly be playing? Something annoying and stupid? That's kind of how I feel. All right, let's make this block and then sack some stuff in response. We become a 3/4. Opponent is going to cast something, and they're going to kill it in response. Okay, but they gain no life. All right, so they just did that to make us lose one of our Eldrazi. But, okay, all right, that sucks, but it's not that bad. Ooh, Gift of the Viper is kind of cool. Unfortunately, we can't really afford to use it. I wonder if we do just territory color and be like, hey, we got a big boy. They can tap it down. And then we are only at 10. Our Breaker creation plan would have been the best, but we didn't draw the land anyway, so I feel like we're okay. I wish I had another forest. That would be very, very helpful right now. We can also get to a point where we play the Detective's Phoenix on a spawn, or maybe on like the Ooze Wag or something. Because like if we lose the Pyro Surfer this turn, which is likely, then we can collect evidence of everything. Oh no, it's collect evidence. I don't have to do 6 cards. Each player sacrifices a creature with the greatest mana value. Or each opponent, sorry. Obviously opponent. So they're going to tap down our Pyro Surfer, and then we basically have to block this Hexgold Slith here, which really sucks. I don't want this to have 3 power or 4 power. I'm feeling pretty bad right now. Let's see. If it has 4 power, then we're basically trading off with this. We can't play this and this. But they do run out of stuff, but I don't want to take 5. So I am just going to block this and take 2, go to 8, and then really hope we draw like a forest off the top. Not a forest, but it is a land. I wonder if the best play is Basking Brood-Scale into Detective's Phoenix on the Surfer? Or is it literally just the Brood-Scale? Let's do it on the Surfer, and we can get rid of things that are 6 mana value, which is like these 2 cards. Cool. That's there. And then we also have a landscape, which we do need to crack for... I think we need to crack it for a forest. And then Breaker, we'll just figure out how to play that later, which kind of sucks, but we need a forest for the Gift of the Viper. I think that's how we're going to be able to do stuff in this game. We're also really hoping they don't have any more energy. That would be really bad for us. We're fine trading our Brood-Scale for anything here. They attack with everybody. We say block, block. Take 2 more, go to 6. All right. Okay, we get the Hexgold Slith off the battlefield. And we're left with a Detective's Phoenix. And they're going to have some lifelink. And a Mandibular Kite. All right, Kite. Luckily, we can actually block it with the Sphinx, or the Phoenix, sorry. We also have the Gift of the Viper. Ooh! Oh, we can do both of those things. But I kind of think Gift is a little bit better here. But Evolution Witness is so nice. I guess we can Evolution Witness, trade it with something, use the Gift of the Viper to go get something. A permanent card. I wonder if it literally is just Chrysalis again. They can put a counter on something. I think I will just play Ooze Wag and pass the turn. Hoping they whiff. Hoping they whiff. Really bad. Because they can give the Dream Drinker Menace and a +1/+1 counter. Okay. They could make it attack for 4. They put the counter on it and they use the Wither and Bloom. Oh, I think I really need to play this Breaker of Creation, so I really need to Evolution Witness to go get our card back. Okay, they're going to give that Menace. So they are going for it this turn. Sure. Okay. They attack with everybody. We're going to go to 1. Okay, so the Gift of the Viper is not helpful here. We go to 1 life. That's pretty rough, but we are alive. And they don't know about the Gift of the Viper. We get to play a forest. And we get to play Evolution Witness. We can either hold up the Gift of the Viper, or we might want to do that, where we get to adapt it and then also use Gift of the Viper. We get 2 cards out of here, which might be pretty important. And then leave the Detective's Phoenix here. If they draw removal, we're just dead. So let's just say that that's fine. I wonder if we do this right now just to go get a land, to play a land. I guess we don't really have to do that. We can just wait. Oh man, this is pretty rough. Please draw nothing. Thank God. All right, Kite. They attack for 4 in the air. We activate this. Get Chrysalis. Gift of the Viper to the Evolution Witness. Get a color. Block. They gain some life. Oh my gosh, this is so intense. Chrysalis. Make some dudes. And then Phoenix on a spawn token. Getting rid of some things we can't get back anyway. Maybe not the Pyro Surfer, the Fang Flames, and let's just say like Brood Scale's not that exciting. And we hold. We're at 1, we're alive. They suited up. They pass the turn. Okay. We are alive, and we're gonna gain a bunch of life right here. Let's go. Let's go. Gain 8. Yes! Oh, wow. That was crazy. Oh, my God. My heart is beating. That was nuts. That was so nuts. Oh, gaining that life was going to be so good. They scooped at 28. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yes. All right. This looks good. We have 3 lands, which is awesome. We have Malevolent Rumble. We can even cast It That Heralds the End. Like, this is great. I think we start with the... I'm going to start with a forest, actually. I don't know if I want to crack this. I want to be able to play It That Heralds the End and then crack it. And maybe we do that and then work on the Malevolent Rumble afterwards. Opponent's playing blue. Well, this is actually pretty nice. We play this into a Skittering Precursor, and it's going to be a 4/4 menace, and we just start beating face. That's great. Opponent's blue-red, assuming that they're probably also playing green. Okay, they're going to kill It That Heralds the End. That makes sense. We will still play our Eldrazi menace creature. And then we can maybe rumble into a land to play the Void Pouncer and say that that's pretty good. Opponent plays 6. That kind of seems like a card we should probably kill. And I think we will just kill it. I don't want to deal with them milling and getting value and ramping and all that jazz. Like, that just sounds awful to me. Let's just get it off the battlefield. Oh, that was a mistake. That card, wow. Pretty good rare into amazing rare. That's a big problem. That's a very big problem. Well, we do have Forest. We could play like Precursor into Void Pouncer and just cut it out. I think we just want to play our creatures out and just make sure we have stuff to block with, right? And then we have a bunch of 3-power creatures. We're going to make sure that Lelia cannot attack us, because Lelia gets gigantic. Whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library and or graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Lelia. And you get to do it every time you attack, and you get to draw cards. I do not like that. Let's not let that happen. Assault happens. We have to trade. Like, we are getting this thing off the battlefield. So we had to trade basically our whole board. We do get to play Territory Color afterwards, though. That's kind of nice. And what do they get? Like a Trickster's Elk to make... They just have a 3/3? Okay, that's fine. Cool. I think we will sacrifice this Eldrazi spawn. Because that way we do get immediately a trigger off this forest coming into play. We can put this into our hand. I think that's fine. We get to ramp a bit and look for our best things, and then maybe just win the game that way. I'm happy that we already dealt with some of their big, like the scary cheap things. Drawing a bunch of cards, though. That kind of sucks. And they get a Twisted Landscape. All right. Let's rumble for something. Wow. Only a land. Not only a land, but we're hoping for some permanence there. Play this. If it's a land, we get it. We will... Oh, man. We'll keep it on top instead of putting it in the yard. But I do think we want to crack this. Get another mountain and just put Fanged Flames into our library somewhere. So when we... right, if it's a creature card. We can put the forest in the yard. We aren't really looking for a bunch of stuff here. Let's rumble again. Look for something. We need something. Chrysalis, finally. That's fantastic. And I'm going to crack this for a... probably another forest. We're just going through our deck. Reveal, Breaker of Creation. Fantastic. Now we're like, all right, watch out. Next turn's going to be crazy. Because, let's see, we have 6 mana, 4 of it for this, and then we only have 6 left, so we can't cast this afterwards. But they're going to take 7. They're going to go to 10. We've shown them our hand, basically. We've been like, look at all this stuff. And we didn't even get any of our, like, our Phoenix isn't in the yard. Any of that stuff. We do need to keep these Eldrazi around, because that's the only way we can cast Breaker now, because we sacked two of our landscapes. So we do need to watch out for that. So we play Chrysalis, and then we can't just sack all of them to the Chrysalis to make it huge. We do have to wait. And I think we want to do it in that order. I think we want to Chrysalis into Breaker so that we get all the counters on Chrysalis. 2 extra counters that we get. And we get to gain an extra... Oh, they have one too. That's not good. At least we also have something. It can get up to 5 power. Yeah, so they can trade with our color here. I also believe we still have... interesting. Okay, so they're going to haste this thing out and deal a bunch of damage. So that's 5. So they're going to attack us for 8 damage. Oh no, only 5. All right, so now we're just taking 5 and being like, well... Okay. Ooh, Annoyed Altasaur. That's also pretty cool. I think we still want to play our own Chrysalis right here. Make the Eldrazi. And then pass the turn. I don't feel confident in attacking here. Because we want to play our Breaker really bad. Then we can gain a bunch of life. We gain at least 6, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's nice. Gaining 10 life is great. And then Altasaur after, and then we get to Cascade into something, which maybe kills something. We might just have to take 5 more damage from this stupid thing. I don't like that. I don't really want to trade the color for it, because the color beats up everything else. So we could go to 7. And luckily, I believe our Evolution Witness is still around somewhere. We do have to remember we milled a bunch of cards, so we can't... Oh my god! That's so bad! Oh no... It says whenever you sacrifice an Eldrazi. We could double block it, but then they have a 7/7 thing, and then we lose all of our Eldrazi spawn. We could go to 1, but they have so much trample. Well, we do gain a bunch of life back. I think that might be the play, is block here, go to a 1. But, like, we don't have enough butt power, you know what I mean? Like, our... Yeah, we'll reveal this creature. We play this. It basically trades with the other big thing, which kind of sucks. We want an Annihilator, right? But we gain 10. We go to 11. We have an 8/4. Yeah, I'd probably just play this too, right? Then we have a 5/6. We can't attack for lethal. Let's see, 12. If we block here, they deal 8. Plus we have this. We can attack for lethal right now. But they probably can't remove this. Do we just attack for 12? They trade here and then don't chump. If they trade there, then we can chump here and take a bunch. Or maybe we just try to... This feels so bad. I feel like we probably should have attacked there, but it just doesn't really feel right. Especially because the Chrysalis could get huge randomly, right? It's not gonna... It might not stay at 12. They could play either another Chrysalis or another thing that makes Eldrazi spawn to make it bigger, and then all of our math is wrong, and then the game's over. So hopefully Annoyed Altasaur can help us find something to deal with, either the Pouncer or... Yeah, see, look, they played a Repurposer, which makes this 13. Monk, get back. Oh, the horrific thing. Oh boy. They're gonna gain life here. Oh, this is so bad. Our Annihilator on our Breaker of Creation just isn't good enough here. Man, they really... The fact that we had to use some like removal early because it felt like their creatures were really strong. Now we're just dying to all their, you know, other things. This is... this doesn't feel great. Man, I don't like when my opponent has Writhing Chrysalis. I like when I have Writhing Chrysalis. They go to 13, they attack like this. Like what, we double block this? Because if we block here, that's 9 damage, plus this 5 that we can't deal with. We can, let's see. If we block like that, we're just gonna die. We can double block this, but then they have the Nyxborn Hydra that's a 7/7. And this way we take... a lot. We still take, let's see, we block 9 of it, so we go to 2. I think we're kind of forced to do this, though. Ugh, that's horrible. Ugh, man, opponents are crushing. I wish I was you. Detectives Phoenix. We're going to play Annoyed Altasaur, and it's just not going to be enough. Cascade into Evolution Witness. It's too slow. Okay, well, we're going to pick up a loss here. That's brutal. I don't think... And they're gonna steal our creature. Okay, so we don't. There wasn't really anything we could do there. All right. I get it. You had lethal on board. All right, plus a bunch of a million other things. No, that wasn't fun, but it is what it is. That was pretty brutal. It felt like they were playing our deck against us, but their deck was just better than ours. Never feels good. All right, folks, we're at 2-1. If we lose another game, it's over for us. I would really like to actually have some sort of prizes. Obviously, we want a box, but if we lose the next one, I'm going to be pretty upset. This hand doesn't have any green mana, so I think we have to mulligan, which sucks. Oh, I've been liking our hand so much. This is our first really bad one. All right, mulligan this. Okay, wow, this is a lot better. We keep this hand, maybe toss Fledgling and keep the Gift of the Viper, just in case we need to block some flyers. Let me just play the Fledgling, and maybe Gift of the Viper is just not that good. Maybe just try to put the pressure on, get another mountain. Yeah, let's keep this, toss the Gift of the Viper, play this. So we're going to play It That Heralds the End on 2, 3, and then 4. Nice curve out. And we can... Well, we unfortunately can't crack our landscape in the middle of that. We did get a Malevolent Rumble as well. I think we just want to play out our cards, though. And then Rumble on 4 if we don't get the Fledgling thing. White of the Reliquary. 2 mana, 2/2. This creature gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, and then you can sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a land, put on the battlefield. Okay. I'm going to do It That Heralds the End. So we got a 2/2. We won't be blocking this white. It's just a 2/2 Vigilance. We do get to play our Precursor, which is a 4/4. Alright, so they have a little bit of this thing going on. They're going to be dealing some damage. We're not really interested in blocking here at all. Cool. Ooh. We will play a mountain, and then we will play the Skittering Precursor. Just a nice 4/4 here. And we can block either one of these creatures. They can adapt 2, which makes it a 3/3, but then they have to exert it and do some stuff to put plus... Okay, that's what they're going to do. Alright, so they're just going pedal to the metal. They want to kill us. What is a single black? What can they do for a single black? I can't remember. They don't attack, they just decided to do that. Okay, well, I kind of like this. We can just Fanged Flames the Trainer... And then Malevolent Rumble? That seems great. Maybe we Malevolent Rumble first. And then Fanged Flames after? Let's do that. Malevolent Rumble. Let's get some stuff. A land would be cool. But also Void Pouncer could be... Well, I think Furnace Hellkite would be the one we'd actually care about. But keeping our lands sounds a little bit better. Especially because we have the Fanged Flames here. So let's Fanged Flames the Trainer, because they just spent their mana on it. Okay, they'll just sacrifice that. Cool. That is fine. 3/3. Oh, fixing their mana there is kind of annoying. Let's attack them for 6. Because they tapped all their creatures. Alright, they're down to 14. And then we do get to play Evolution Witness and get out... Maybe like the Furnace Hellkite. I do need double red. Okay. They do that. Their White of the Reliquary is getting bigger. Which I don't really like that much. And they're going to kill our Skittering Precursor. With a lethal takedown. Okay. Alright, so now we can't really do... That could mill them out, but they can gain life through that. So white is going to get really big. That's kind of scary. But good to know. This does get just any sort of dude. I'm thinking I probably just want to... I am just going to attack for 2. Let's see. Do we attack for 2 or do we attack for 3 here? I think we attack for 3. They have to mill 3 cards. But I think we're just going to chump block this white. Yeah, it's a 6/6 now. They're going to... Oh, they pay... Oh, and they pay 3 life. Oh, I thought they were gaining life. Oh, this is even better for us. Interesting. Attack for 5. I don't want to take 5, so I think I do just block and then go draw a card. I want to play my fledgling too. That's kind of important. Let's get... Well, if we get the Furnace guy, that's not that good. We could play Void Pouncer, and it's a 5/3, so at least it trades with this thing. And we can attack with it this next turn. That's kind of cool. There's also the 5/5 flyer that we can't cast. Let's take the Void Pouncer. Cool. Do that. They are at 8. Man, if we had more red mana, that would be really cool. Can we Void Pouncer? We could sacrifice this thing. Then I don't have red mana. I sack that. And then they block. Yeah, it's just definitely not enough damage. I think we want to play this, but sacrifice our creature. I need double red pretty badly, I think. Oh, this is 6 as well. So it's a 6/5. There is a world where they just kill this, they mill over 3 creatures, and that's 13? But this thing could just be too gigantic. I'm gonna pass the turn. I'm scared. It's a 7/7. They're gonna pay some life. Okay, they go to 5. They get a land. They can play the Eldrazi Ravager if they sacrifice some stuff. That's not really going to happen. When this attacks, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each colorless thing. Sacrifice a creature. Oh, boy. That's pretty bad. They have an 8/8. So this is lethal. This is quite the bummer. Kind of wishing that we just had killed this White of the Reliquary early. I don't really remember this being a good card or doing anything, but I guess they built a deck around it. I don't see a way out of this, guys. I feel like maybe there was a time when we shouldn't have just chumped. I guess, honestly, this just kind of goes back to the Fang Flames from way early. And we should have just killed the white as opposed to the other creature. I didn't do enough. Ugh. Okay. We still have a path to victory, right? We can chump block the White of the Reliquary, and we can fledgling, like, block the ooze thing. You can only adapt +1. This creature attacks, put a +1/+1 on target modified. Oh, okay. So it can make it a 5/5, and then we just don't have a way of winning. And we're at 2. We don't have haste things. Yeah, I guess so. We just have to hope our opponent just, like, screws up. Or they do that, which means we do have to block it. Which is another way we just lose the game. Like this, but we need to gain a life. Wish we had the Gift of the Viper. I think we're just dead now. Like, expanding ooze killing us really feels bad. That card's terrible. We go to 1. And we draw land. Alright. Well, oh my god. Is this our fault? I think we could have probably won this game and we messed it up. We should have just tried to kill this thing. I don't know what we were thinking. That sucks. Ugh. Dang it. Dang it. Well, I feel like we're continuing our streak of having 2 really awesome games to go 2-0 into like some 2 pretty brutal games to go 2-2, which is really just like going 2-2 is kind of the worst. I mean, going 0-2 sucks because you just didn't really get to do anything, but going 2-2 is like, man, I was so close. You know, I really felt like we were right there. I felt like we built the best deck we could in the colors that we had. We had some other things going on. I don't think any of these other decks we should have been playing, though. Opponents had some pretty strong decks, some good stuff, and we literally just tried to kill the wrong creature on turn 3. Like, that was just stupid. We should have just killed the creature that we didn't think was going to be that big of a deal. Ended up being a huge deal because they had a huge mill theme, and that was on us. We just killed a rare when you see it sometimes. Ah, that sucks. Felt like we could have... Well, I don't really know. We could have clawed back into that last one, but we had some good games early on, and just kind of petered out and fumbled the ball there at the end. Dang it. I do feel like this is a pretty good pool of like commons and uncommons that we're going to win the game with, but dang, that's brutal, buddy. Brutal. Oh, man. Well, there you go. Sometimes you win boxes and sometimes you lose right before you win anything. We'll have to get it next time.